Hey Blaine, I don't know if you can get a hold of your mom, but looks like the stream's going through. Yeah, like it's up and live. Let me see. I guess I can message in Discord in here. Do 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 do. The live stream's up. I don't see your mom in Discord, so I can't. I don't know how to get a hold of her.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if she's gonna be in Discord. She'll probably just want to watch. The stream's up. You mean you're streaming right now?
Oh, there we go. She sees me. Okay, never mind. She's watching. Hey, Leila. No problem. No problem. Okay. So we're all set. All right. So, I'm trying to think of where to start. Basically, once you get to the island, you'll get a series of quests that'll lead you to the first like settlement, which is where I'm at right now.
Hey.
And then
Didn't talk to his mom. What? Yeah, I didn't know.
anyway, so once you get up to the
I kind of assumed that. What was that?
once you get up to the settlement, then you'll get various quest givers. They'll kind of lead you from person to person.
I don't know what game's doing. He's in a different game or something. He's streaming right now so that my mom can see.
So let's see.
So,
Sorry, I'm slightly distracted. Okay, so the gameplay is mostly mostly combat with some resource gathering. So, and then the crafting is really based on different stations and different different tools. So, let me see. Trying to think. When you get when you first start off on the beach, it'll give you like a sword as a basic basic starting weapon, and then you'll be able to loot some weapons along the way from your enemies. As far as Blaine's inviting me to a group.
online in Discord.
As far as crafting your starting weapons. Oh yeah, okay. Is there a campfire up here? I guess I can use one of these. So you'll find a campfire at the sort of the little starter mission area way down to the beach. I could run down to the beach, but that was way out further than I meant to. But wait, where is the starter beach? Is that it down there? Oh, it's down there. At any rate, there's a you'll find a campfire and stuff like this. So when you have a campfire, you've got some basic recipes like a wooden longsword. When you unlock it, you'll be able to do flint arrows, and then your basic survival tools like you'll be able to collect flint, and then like what is it, green wood? Yeah, green wood. You'll be able to get that from bushes. So I guess I can make one just so you can. Oh no, it's okay. This is kind of the whole reason I got on. It's not disturbing the gameplay at all. The whole reason I got on here right now is so that you could see what the gameplay is like. Oh, that's a wolf. Okay, so you'll find these bushes which you can just gather by hand. Oh crap. Um, so anyway, so you have these bushes that you can gather by hand, and they give you green wood, and sometimes they'll give you like food bait.
Doing a stream.
And then, as you just saw, when you fight enemies, like especially animals, you can harvest them. So when you have like when you craft yourself like a basic flint knife, then you can skin the animals, and you'll get meat and rawhide. And then you can use the green wood, the rawhide, and then the flint is just rocks on the ground that you can pick up by hand. So when it comes to crafting your basic tools and weapons,
Found my mom's house.
did that person pick up their camp? I think that person took their campfire. Ah, somebody else took theirs. Let me craft my own.
Sort your inventory and stuff.
Yeah, there are some similarities to Valheim. Let's see, I need 5 green wood and 1 flint.
Yeah.
I need 3 more green wood.
I know, especially the on my mom's.
There's 1, 2. There we go. Ta-da.
I don't know. It's not really her kind of game, you know. But
There we go.
But MMOs aren't really my kind of game either. But this
Wait,
one's
it's all applied. Why won't
a little
it?
different. It just feels funner than.
Why won't it
It's different from.
craft? Oh, there it goes. Just lagged, I
So
guess.
I think I.
Okay, so if you see, as far as like making this wood longsword, I need one more green wood, but then I've got the rawhide. You can also get the ingredients in the recipes here with the flint, the green wood, the feathers for the arrows. Feathers you get by finding turkeys and stuff. And then the picks, so 1 flint, 1 green wood, and you get a flint mining pick. Flint mining pick will let you get like boulders and such, and then eventually you'll be able to mine iron and then upgrade to iron tools. But this is so like for wood and flint, you can use a campfire. For anything more complicated, you have to go to a settlement. I forgot there's no sprint. So once you get to the settlement, there are different crafting stations for different types of items. So, for instance, there's a stone cutting workbench for making. This is more for for cutting gems, which are good for boosting stats in equipment, or just making stone blocks, which I think stone blocks have to do with when you get your own. Well, you can get your own settlement through a company, but the problem is that there's kind of like player versus player attached to that, so not as friendly. Jeez, what the hell is that? So then, like, say you mine raw iron, then you can take that iron and turn it into the raw iron ore and turn it into iron ingots. And of course, like any other survival crafting game. Yeah, the graphics are fantastic, and they chose a good visual style, just like a unique visual style, with it being set in sort of that like it's called the New World, so kind of that conquistador, like 1400s sort of era. So your various ores can be smelted into ingots like any other survival crafting game, and I think charcoal probably goes toward making gunpowder. I'm not sure. And then after you've got like your iron ingots, then you can come to a forge and craft weapons and plate armor in the forge, as well as different kinds of swords and such once you get to that point. And let's see what else. What's this one again? Is there anything here? No, that's just talking to the person. So this area is kind of like for the metal crafting and such, metal and stone crafting. Up here, what is this? This is for wood cutting, wood crafting. So you can make timber, lumber, etc. And let's see. Then a wood shop will let you craft iron musket, treated bow, iron cartridges, which are the ammo for the musket, basically, and then iron arrows as well as flint arrows, and then some of your basic tools and then your tools as well. So here you can make the flint tools as well as the iron tools, etc., etc. Oh, no, looks like furniture and stuff too, which is kind of cool. Oh, and gunpowder. Yeah, so charcoal, need charcoal, flint, and then saltpeter, which saltpeter I think I have to get it from caves. That's another thing, nice thing too, is if you want to know what you need to craft things, you can just come to the crafting station to make it. It will tell you the ingredients you need, and then you can like say, okay, I need, like for instance with the gunpowder, I need.
Are you doing something else?
You know, if I don't know where something comes from, it tells you. So like the charcoal is refined at the smelter, so you can go to the smelter, look at charcoal, and see what it requires. Flint says derived from. You can see where it says derived from, found on the ground. Same thing with the saltpeter, derived from caves. So it gives you an idea of where you can look for that ingredient. And then the last part of the like item weapon crafting thing. Well, there's two more parts. Hang on. Let's see over here. Yeah, the visual style is also fun because it's kind of walks the line between sort of medieval fantasy and like that whole colonial era thing. So over here you've got a tannery. So this lets you turn your rawhide into like coarse leather.
You're in the game? Oh yeah, you are.
And then over here you've got the loom, which if you find hemp plants, you get fibers from hemp plants. You can turn that into linen. And then you've got the outfitting station. This lets you do leather and cloth armor. So the armor is similar to 7 Days to Die, where you've got light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. Oops, hang on one sec.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta double check my. I got ice cream being delivered by Cold Stone. I gotta double check. Okay, 6 minutes away.
Actually, I saw.
So Cold Stone. So like 7 Days to Die, you've got light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. So the linen armor is light, the leather is medium, and then the plates, iron and stuff is heavy. Yeah, ice cream. From Cold Stone Creamery. So the way armor works in the game is, by the way, I've bought one of the cosmetic skins, so that's why it looks different than like if you were looking at this. But the way armor works in the game is it's based off of weight. So it's not necessarily like you have to wear all light armor in order to be considered light armor class. As long as enough of the armor is light enough in weight and it stays under a certain total weight, then it's considered whatever class it is. So light armor, while wearing light armor, you can dodge in a quick roll that covers a lot of distance. You deal 20% bonus damage and healing. Medium armor, your dodge is a quick hop, you deal 10% damage. And then heavy, while wearing heavy armor, your dodge is a slow sidestep. Your block stability is increased by 15%. Crowd control debuffs and apply last longer. So you basically can like choose to go like with all light armor or light and some medium, as long as it the overall weight stays low, or you can go even medium up, some medium and heavy pieces, while still staying in the medium armor class, and that really determines like how your dodge works. So for instance, I'm in heavy, so my dodge is like it's a sidestep. Oh, and by the way, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a gauge there. That's your stamina gauge. So depending on since I'm in heavy armor, my dodges, take basically half my stamina, and I think that might also depend on your overall stats too. Oops. Now, when the way combat works, like as far as melee combat goes, it depends on your weapon. But like I go with the sword and shield, so when I block, I just have to right click and it'll bring my shield up to block. Each hit that I take with my shield chips away at my stamina meter, but it's less costly than my dodge. So it's kind of a trade-off. Like I can't dodge out of the way, but I can take hits better because, you know, my armor takes some of the damage as well as my shield. Usually, like in 7 Days to Die, I go for light armor, but in other games like this, a lot of times I'll go with like heavier armor. It just depends on kind of what feels right for the game I'm playing. Now, so that's blocking, and then so I could block, and then I could also do dodges as well, just depending on what the situation's like. Basic attacks are just make sure your crosshairs are on your enemy, and then it's just left click. And if you keep left clicking in succession, your character will do just a basic combo, depending on the what the weapon you're using is. Like each weapon has different kind of combo. The ranged combat, if I switch to my bow, and by the way, you've got 2 weapon slots here. So you've got your primary weapon, your secondary weapon. If you have a two-handed weapon, like a two-handed axe or two-handed hammer, then it's better to just have your weapon here, like your melee weapon, and not have a shield equipped, because your shield actually goes toward your overall weight. So depending on how you want to kind of roll with it. So you have 2 weapon slots basically. So you can either go 2 different melee weapons, you can go 2 different ranged weapons, you can go melee range, whatever you want to mix up. So if I go range, if I go with my bow, you see the crosshair changes, and then the bow and the musket actually play more like a first-person shooter. So who is that? Oh, that's somebody I don't know. So when you hold right click, you end up aiming with your weapon. And then wherever you're aiming with your weapon is actually where your arrow or your bullet is going to go. And I think there might even be a difference between headshot damage and like torso damage. I'd have to test that to be certain. And you can cancel aiming just by letting go of your right click, and then you can fire by, left click. And hits and misses also are completely dependent on whether or not you actually hit or miss the target with your projectile. So it's not like other like RPGs where, it's just a percentage chance of hit or miss. It's literally like, if you're whether or not you hit your target is completely dependent on whether or not you hit your projectile actually reaches and touches them. Let's see. Oh, and then you have special abilities. So if you in the lower right, you see where there's it's kind of a countdown on the lower right. I just hit R, which used my shield bash special ability. If I hit Q, once I get down here. If I hit Q, then I do like a spin attack, and then you see my my shield is just my shield bash is just recharged. So those are different tactics you can use. Those are in the here we go. This is like your character abilities and such. So you can have your biography here, etc. Your attributes, as you level up, you'll gain attribute points that you can invest, and your gear also, if you notice when I hover over it, I have 16 points that I've committed to strength, 5 points are contributed by my equipment, and 17 points are contributed by my item buffs. Now, I'm not sure what the difference is between equipment and item buffs, but basically, combined overall, all of those things together give me a strength of 38 right now. Weapon mastery, the game is based off of a learn by doing system, or I should say leveling by doing system. So when you cut wood, your wood cutting goes up. When you use a musket or a bow, then your etc. Whichever thing you use, that goes toward leveling that item up. As you level it up, you get points that you can invest in different forms of like basically mastering that weapon. So sword is typically combined with sword and used as sword and shield. You could technically go with just a sword, just a one-handed sword, and just focus all on this side of the tree, or you can go back and forth, which is kind of what I'm doing. So these squares are actually special abilities that you can get at different stages.
The heavy stuff makes your
And
attack
then the circles, as far as I've seen so far, those are basically like enhancements to the abilities themselves. So I got my whirling blade, that spin attack thing from there, and then you can see what's got 15-second cooldown, and it's got the effect is that it deals 145% weapon damage to all foes within 2 meters. So it's like an area, affects a 2-meter area around me, and deals 145% of weapon damage. So typical weapon damage plus an extra 45%, almost time 1.5 times. Empowered stab. So another thing. Oh, and on top of the combo and your special attacks, you can also hold your left click, and that does a power attack. So with the sword, it does a stab. And so one of the abilities that I got was empowered stab. So it says it's a successful heavy attack grants you 30% in power for 5 seconds, which is like, I'm assuming that's a type of a buff. A boost to stats, basically. And then Whirling Blade. So this is an enhancement to the Whirling Blade ability. As Whirling Blade causes 5% rend for 10 seconds. Rend reduces the target's armor. So basically, when I use this, with a stat put into this, that means that it reduces the target's armor by 5% for 10 seconds. So it kind of opens them up to more damage, basically. And then the Shield Bash, of course, another ability I got. You rush forward 5 meters, knocking back foes and dealing 125% weapon damage. So it's a forward rush that knocks foes down and does extra damage. And then, let's see, stamina damage is reduced by 50% when blocking a melee attack with the shield. So this helps, since I do more blocking than dodging, that basically reduces the amount of stamina that it costs to take a hit with the shield. That's all. I'm trying to remember what the X. There we go. X draws and sheathes your weapon. Oh, Kaysen's. This is Kaysen, by the way. I guess he's trying to give me something. I'm not sure what. Oh, he's giving me a. Oh, cool. Oh, so you can trade with other players. That's how you give items. And you can either choose to trade straight across, or you can just, just one person choose to give you the item, the other person, and then the other person just say, add nothing to the trade, and that's how the one person giving somebody else something works. Let's see. Oh, another thing that's kind of cool about the combat, again, that's very different from other, what this would be considered like an MMO, is if you actually enter combat. Oh yeah, I forgot you can go prone. So you can crouch and sneak, and then what is it? Z? Z lets you actually dive and go prone. The trees will not kill you if they land on you, thankfully. But that's kind of a fun thing about cutting down trees, is that the sound. Oh, that's another thing that's amazing about this game, is the sound actually carries, and it's actually generated by player activity. So when somebody's chopping down a tree, like way off in the distance, you can hear the axe hitting the tree, and then you can hear the tree fall when it finally falls. I'm trying to think of what else there is to this. There's fall damage you have to be careful of, so if you're up high, just be careful not to drop down. And then yeah, it's just kind of various missions. Oh, part of the missions you can do is one of the things they have you do is get set up with a faction. It doesn't cause too much lag. The biggest reason I didn't, well, for one, I couldn't stream last time because what do you call it? The stream wouldn't work for last time for some reason. I don't know why. And then the other reason that I didn't stream, aside from that was the main reason, was when I play with my mom, she prefers not to like speak while I'm streaming, so I kind of have to like, you know, basically choose between her being able to communicate efficiently or streaming. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Oh, whoop. Okay. A lot of great stuff too. It's a great combination of like that MMO kind of stuff, along with, you know, again, the survival kind of crafting stuff that we're so used to with like 7 Days to Die, and then, you know, other games that we play too. So I think that's another reason. Yeah, I'm streaming now, you know, because you know, I figured I'd just run the stream enough for you to see the gameplay and kind of do it that way. But yeah, the now she's being a goofball. But I think another reason that Blaine wanted me to stream this, or wanted you to be able to see it, is because, like he said, he's typically, you know, not an MMO kind of guy, but this game doesn't feel like a typical MMO. You know, it's very just kind of responsive to your movement, your actions, and everything is really based on, you know, what you're doing, and how you do it. So it's something you could definitely have fun with. Like I said, I'd highly recommend it. Yeah, of course, no problem. I'm happy to be able to kind of demonstrate it for you. I'm sure, hopefully, it'll kind of answer some questions if anybody else, you know, happens to check out the video on my channel too. But yeah, I'll go ahead and cut the stream here, and I will talk to you later. Love you. Bye.